and they're like, yep, this is definitely the right kind of crop to attempt to grow on the vacuum move.
By the way, now going to this first defense, you can see Jackie is actually going to play Torb, and this is the double turret defense that we have seen a little bit out of. Doesn't surprise me at all that it's a Cyclone coupling that wants to try this one out first. And already New Paradigm spotting this one out. They don't want to play into it. They just probably want to get a Genji here, and then they should be good.
The time we saw it, there was a Symmetra that kind of bypassed it. I do like that New Paradigm aren't opting into that though, because I feel like teams kind of expect the Symmetra bypass at this point, so the Genji will obviously serve them better.
It will, and there's going to be the immediate dive, but look at Frost's health.
Oh boy, X69 taking the hurt, but a lot of discipline to just kind of sit tight there, knowing that his healers have his back. Now he's going to reposition a little bit as they clean up the rest of these members. So that's the first dive from New Paradigm unsuccessful.
And so far, they do get at least a DMEC, though. They get the turret as well, and this is the kind of intricacy of having the double turret set up. But I say double because technically the Bastion just sits there as its own turret, but you can place the Torbjorn turret on one side, the Bastion on the other side, and you can't deal with both effectively.
That kill onto Ref, though, will give Eternal maybe a bit more time to get back into the mech. Hold on, pressure coming out from Unknown to try and stop that from happening.
Counter pressure as well, he nearly loses his own life. The EMP, super important. It shuts everything down, and specifically because X69 can't heal himself and can't self-repair, the shield goes down from Yang as well. Most of the support ultimates and support abilities, I should say, don't do anything. It's a big deal. They're looking for Unknown, but they can't find him.
And he's already right in position to do it. He's exactly where he needs to be, just completely in behind them. X69 instantly drops as the collapse is impeccable from New Paradigm. Even Unknown getting out of that alive despite being so low on health. And that's the thing, despite all that extra time that Cyclone coupling got with those staggered out kills, this is still not an ideal position. X69 swap
Molten Core.
Gonna put the Molten Core into the point though, just to try and throw a spanner in the works. And it does find Unknown. I'm in trouble on this high ground, taking a bit of hurt, but just barely getting healed up. They will finish off Yang. Now it's just kind of waiting out the snot on the point.
And Unknown must have already been low because it's rare to see a Molten Core kill against a dive. And Cyclone coupling, they're not done here. They want to commit. They have their own dive ready and set up.
I mean, they lose Eternal's mech as they try and enter onto that one though, so it's not off to the greatest of starts. Now you see Red Fox just kind of left out in the cold. And actually Cyclone coupling, despite making this change, didn't actually fully commit to that contest. Yang you see held back.
I actually think that Cyclone coupling should maybe go for Super McCree here. Something that can stop New Paradigm from coming in. Maybe even a Doomfist. You're playing up against a Dragon Blade and you don't have the appropriate counters. If you play your own Genji and Tracer, both of those heroes can get cut down quite easily.
New Paradigm plenty to play with on the offense here. X69 trying to just play harass. That's going to be the Dragon Blade coming out of the back line. Nice stun, but doesn't save Red Fox's life. Frost finds the second one. Self-destruct. Goes a little bit into yonder. Cyclone losing Yang now in a very tight spot here.
Could be a double cap.
Eternal solo mech, and I do believe it will be, or rather solo tank is what I meant to say, and I do believe it will be a double cap out in pretty quick fashion here.
I do stand by my comment. I think Cyclone coupling have chosen the wrong composition. It's 2 ticks already done here. Primal from Frost to finish things up.
Just keeps this one trapped in the base here as the rest that were on the points. Don't have any support coming out of those gates. Not quite going to get that at the 440. They'll go just under for, I believe, 438 it was, but that's a pretty timely cap.
This is the thing about New Paradigm, or rather Cyclone coupling, is just not identifying, look, what are your outs in that kind of position? You know the snowball is imminent. You know there's a blade on its way as well because it wasn't used to cap A. They should understand, look, you have Red Fox onto the Brigadier, but that's not quite ideal enough. You don't have typically your primary counters there. There's no sound barrier. There's no transcendence. The supports aren't quite onto what they should be. The sleep dart obviously doesn't land because it's quite hard to do that. Then your 2 DPSs, you could be going McCree here to maybe combo up with the Brigadier for the Bash Bang combo. And on top of that, look, if nothing else works, a Sombra or a Doomfist could at least apply some disruption, but they just had no defense against that Genji Dragon Blade. They had a quick shield bash, but nothing came out of it. They didn't even have the damage to follow up, so Cyclone coupling almost expectedly just fell over as soon as Iron Bladed.
Now it's up to their defense here. New Paradigm. Set themselves up nicely to secure this one, or at the very least go into a very favorable time bank. And man, who does that? Those bananas were difficult to grow, come on. We already lost one whole species of banana because all of the plants died out, literally all of them. That was like one bad grow season, it's like, whoop, no Cavendish bananas, you left. Oh, maybe it's the Cavendish ones that we've still got. I can't remember.
Just
But that's basically
just a regular kind of.
It's basically why banana-flavored things don't taste the same as real bananas.
We are going to see New Paradigm play the almost atypical now Junkrat Widow defense here. A lot of pressure against both Goats and Dive. And Cyclone coupling triple DPS, the Chinese special.
Oh boy, I never get tired of this. New Paradigm might get tired of it. You never know. It's actually quad DPS has been the latest innovation. But not going to be seeing that one just yet.
Yeah, you don't want to be too experimental. You don't want to really go too far out of your comfort zone here. And the triple's already experimental enough. You have to start getting some pressure onto the point, but also get the flanks and find the damage and kills.
The DPS,
that's one.
The prog rock of Overwatch compositions is now Iron getting picked off as probably the ideal pick in this situation. Just alleviates so much pressure, especially from the tanks. But good fight on GCGG. Doesn't stop this burst there going over, and Jackie keeping up the pressure on these backliners, just slowly forcing out New Paradigm from any kind of favorable position.
And look how fast the composition is. If somebody goes down, Cyclone coupling can reinforce almost instantly. And for New Paradigm here, they're just trying to get back on top of the point. There should be some more cap pressure coming through.
Iron actually changed onto a Tracer, then chose to change back onto this Junkrat. But it's kind of paid off because with all these DPS suddenly dropping like flies, that third is all Cyclone will get. They didn't get anything else there. Just kind of botched the follow-up on any of those kills.
I'm a little surprised because if they just pressured the actual point itself, they would have forced New Paradigm to come to them. But Cyclone coupling were too interested in forcing the fights when they didn't need to. New Paradigm are the ones that actually have to contest the point, not Cyclone coupling in that sort of scenario. They didn't play the objective. They then got themselves team wiped. They at least got one tick, but I mean, they should have gotten more.
Now just got to wait out that infra site. You do know when it ends thanks to it showing that you're detected while it's active, but there we go. There's the opening.
Yeah, on top of that, you can just sort of count it out if you do want to check the timer, but at sort of this point now, even if the DPS ults come through, there is a Transcendence. The big ult is going to be X69 on the EMP. Watch for that one.
And they can just get a kill here or there with a Pulse Bomb. They've got a Dragon Blade. A lot of pressure can come out from these DPSs, and that's really what Cyclone will be relying on.
Oh, he does get detected. This is very, very...
Yeah, by the time he commits it, they're all over him like a rash. And now coming in forward with this Dragon Blade, but the self-destruct to just kind of muscle him out of the position. By the time he's over to Baxter, it's already run out. Now he can't even finish off Baxter. Goes down for his trouble. And it just all goes sour for Cyclone.
Not yet.
Oh, hold up. GCGG is not done in the res on Eternal. Just you wait, folks. Sit tight there. Tato and Frost still getting a couple in here. And Cyclone coupling do have the closer respawn. They're finally just set up on the point. That's Tato turning to the hills and running.
This is going to be a very quick cap quite soon because the reinforcement distance is so favorable for Cyclone coupling. You can actually see the silhouettes there. New Paradigm, they know it's over. They're setting up with B defense. And that's kind of the advantage. The only unfortunate thing is Jackie doesn't get the double kill off the Dragon Blade as he has to sheathe that one away.
Whoa.
Like the best, tastiest 2-killing. But
got excited for a second. I thought it was quad DPS.
Look, they're crazy, but they're not that crazy. They are going to be with something a little bit more normal, something that you do see a little bit more often. Iron still has the Tracer. I'm guessing he's going to swap when he does see Jackie on the Brigadier. You don't want to play the Tracer into him. But other than that, Cyclone coupling just got to wait for the EMP.
Really do just like this team comp out of Cyclone coupling. They've had a lot of success. It's got enough flexibility against the DPSs and enough flexibility against the Goats as well. Wow. They actually managed to find Unknown playing a bit over-aggressive on the back line there. That's what they were pulling back for. I was wondering about that for a second, and now they get aggressive on the remaining members, taking a 5 versus 6 that's fast become a 4 versus 6. Now nearly a
late
3 versus 6. Very late one indeed. Saves Baxter, but only barely. Now he's still getting pressured. Might just go down for all this trouble. Oh, that's a dirty toss. What? Catches him on the flyby as Yang Yang dives past Iron. Now Baxter dropped down. Frost is done for as well. And it's actually looking like Cyclone coupling will cap at a pretty comparable time. Yang Yang does go down to a self-destruct.
Lost 2.
Can't actually commit this EMP here. Rally up from Jackie a bit too late in the day for this team. They're still singing it. Jackie's still just keeping this one down pat for the team. X69 committed an EMP at a very awkward time, so he doesn't have it, but I think they're still going to do this, would you believe?
Yeah, they have the members.
This is absolutely insane. They've been able to respawn. Unknown's popped onto a Bastion here. This is so bizarre, but just look at Jackie go.
He's gone insane. He's killed Iron so often now. The ticks are coming through. The Bastion's not going to do the damage. Unknown can't even contest the point, and that is going to be enough. And I want to actually credit Yang Yang for starting out with the plays. I mean, he gets stuck, but look, a pulse bomb with the nerf damage doesn't kill a tank anymore. He actually detects which way he believes Tracer's going to go. He jumps in that direction, cops eyeing the pulse bomb in his own face, gets the free kill off the opponent's ultimate, and then they just continue. The X69 EMP, I want to say, actually helped set up Jackie and the rest of the team to continue playing that scenario. So despite us not really seeing exactly who it landed on, assuming that it did land onto some correct place, because the kills ended up coming through, so you have to say, look, it worked. It was very effective. 3 minutes 19. They still managed to double cap. It's only about a minute something less than New Paradigm, but otherwise it's very, very close.
It's just very... This is a very hard team to not like. Just, I mean, the sheer chaos and the situations that they win in, the plays that come out, I mean, it's just entertaining. And that's what it is at the end of the day.
And by the way, I do have to comment, the Tracer plays from GCGG were fantastic.
They were.
The fact that he's actually a support player on a offense, when you thought Cyclone Coupling were losing in that sort of scenario, he's picking up a couple of kills time and time again. He thrives, Tracer that is, thrives in low sort of population environments where players have already gone down. It's maybe a 3 versus 3. That's when Tracer's at her most powerful state, and Cyclone Coupling know that, and they're going to play the triple DPS again. This time, though, into Super McCree, it is a bit more dangerous.
It is. It's one of those, I mean, we always say of triple DPS, it's very volatile. It's like a radioactive isotope. It'll either blow up in your face or blow up in their face, and you just don't know which.
And New Paradigm have the catalyst as well. That's what it looks like. It's a stun to the face.
That's signed, fine, and one. That's, I mean, that's exactly what New Paradigm need to do. They just need to replicate that a few more times now.
Certainly will be able to. Note there is a time difference where, yeah, they had 3 minutes something on the clock, but because we are into time bank and because New Paradigm still will attack after this, Cyclone Coupling, they can't be too patient. They have to look for abilities to try and cap Jackie, changing himself, or rather both Jackie and GCGG, now changing onto the Brigitte Zen combo, still waiting for EMP. Could be waiting for a while, though.
And this is also how they want to deal with the Super McCree. They don't want to have all those vulnerable DPSs.
It's too slow so far. They've only got about 2 minutes remaining now.
Pressure onto Ainz finally, and they close out on him. So that's a good start. Easy dive onto Baxter and Ref, and suddenly no supports left for that McCree. He's just got to do all the damage himself. He's still got the tanks to block for him, but every single bit of bullet that connects is going to stick as they demag Tito. Frost goes down, unknown, on the surface of the moon, just lazily floats away.
Yep, he's going to feel that one in the morning. For Cyclone Coupling now, this is going to be a cap, and X69 does now have an EMP, so the double cap possibility becomes quite real. Sombra, Doomfist defense here. Very important, because if they can get a couple of frags, even if the EMP does come down, that's going to be huge. But if either of the two DPSs I didn't know get caught in the EMP, they're both just sitting ducks.
Eternal does still need mech though, so there's time at least for New Paradigm to fully respawn and take a bit of a position, but there's still those ultimates. That's what's really going to do it for Cyclone Coupling.
The wait should be over now. The mech is available, and the scouting has been done, so there's also no translocator that did get destroyed. This is all or nothing.
That connects on with the hack onto a good number of members.
Ainz has to die.
Decently quick closeout onto Ainz. X69 trades his life for it, so lacking in the DPS department is Cyclone, and these trades do not favor them on the offense. The defense is the better situation here, but never count Cyclone Coupling out. One is to say that for as long as Jackie is still in the fight, they're actually still getting kills coming through. That's a third.
Oh, this is big now.
They're going to get more, and they've got ultimates to rotate through. X69 will be rejoining the team about now. Here comes these ultimates. What can New Paradigm do about this? Contesting the point. Unknown goes down. No, Baxter is not able to touch it. Neither is Frost. Double cap now. This is a much more favorable position for Cyclone.
And the thing is, it looks like even trades until it's not. And when it isn't, and it's going in the favor of Cyclone Coupling, it's going heavily in their favor because Jackie's finding kills. X69, despite dying, got the EMP on the right members. They got Ainz down. The kill pressure was gone. And then GCG, if it wasn't enough, still has a Transcendence. If things go very poorly and somehow New Paradigm can then contest and have some kill threat, the Transcendence comes through, and then Cyclone Coupling get the contest for even longer. A double cap when they had less time. This now really puts pressure on the New Paradigm. 4 minutes 38 plus an extra 30 seconds. 5 minutes and 8 seconds, assuming they cap out A, is what they have to work with for the entire map, and they must get a double cap here if they want to contest for another time back.
What do you think is the benefit to rotating those plants there? So they're rotating.
Just to annoy you, I hope.
The same part of the plant is facing the light the whole time, so I don't see what rotating them does, what benefit it has. Aside from maybe seeing them all more clearly, but you could just make the whole tube glass all the way around. I don't understand the science at play on the moon here. Jeff Kaplan, please explain.
The Overwatch Art and Environment team. Nonetheless, that's not something that's too important, thankfully, for this match. Unless, of course, the plant gets in the way of a Graviton Surge, like it pretty does on Numbani, but for New Paradigm on this offense, it's going to be the Genji plus Sombra dive into a Winston Goat. So,
spotted out.
Aggressive from Cyclone, by the way.
Yeah, they saw Unknown on the backside, so they went, okay, we'll get aggressive, take a bit of a 6 versus 5 here, and now they've got Unknown caught on the other side of that one. Doesn't translocate out, and he goes down. So Cyclone coupling just burning some time off the clock, charging up some ultimate.
And actually killing Unknown is the most important kill there, because you have to slow down this EMP charge. So much so that they're actually going to change New Paradigm going onto the right. Now this is great because they know they're playing into another Goat. They know if they can Earth Shatter, they have advantage, and they know if they can win a fight cleanly, they can snowball onto B. So pretty decent.
That being said, Cyclone coupling know that they have Eternal, and if he gets a self-destruct, it'll inevitably be a 6k or something. Ref goes down as New Paradigm rotation. Good catch by Cyclone coupling, just keeping tabs on wherever New Paradigm are trying to move and not letting them get anything near to set up, keeping them separated.
Big clean up.
Divide and conquer.
And Unknown will be lucky to get out with his life. And look at this, the speed boost in. Cyclone coupling
So
won
aggressive.
4. But they do have enough discipline to say time to back out. Just wait until the next push. We are farming ultimates here. Yang nearly on the Primal Rage, and it's the only ultimate on the board. Usually you look at Primal Rage in a Ghost versus Ghost, you think probably not the most valuable ultimate, but when it's the only ultimate there, it is valuable.
And the disruption it causes New Paradigm on the rotation cannot ever be discounted. Bucks are low, goes down, dive in, they look behind, they look for Ref. They're going to actually find Frost though.
Oh,
they
nice
don't really
flank.
mind who they get. Now it's Iron, and again, keeping them separated, keeping them kettles, divide and conquer. Even in this confined space, the New Paradigm members can barely link arms.
And the damage coming out of Yang here is real. He's saying, you're in my home right now. It's Winston he's playing. And for Cyclone coupling, they're just farming up these ultimates. Frost is so far away from getting that Earth Shatter because he's dying so quickly. If they want to play the right into the Winston, if they want to play the Shatter into the bubble, that's the advantage they want to play with. But 50% onto 100% is a massive gap. 2 minutes 30 remaining, another 30 seconds if they cap. It's unlikely they get a good time if they're this low.
I do want to see, though, I want to see Cyclone efficiently cycle these ultimates because the grab, it's good. They follow up, it's decent. They get the rally used as well. I mean, that's a free one. So there we have it, that efficient cycle.
That's another clean fight. Look at that. Now this time, all 6 members down. I got a weather report for you. It looks like a Cyclone. And right now, Graviton Surge finally available for Unknown, but it's taken so long. Earth Shatter finally available for Frost. This has to be the penultimate fight. If New Paradigm don't win here with these ultimates, they're probably not winning at all.
New Paradigm have really got to make this one count, make this one connect. And once again, Cyclone coupling just want to do the same thing, cut them off with the rotation, self-destruct forward, finds out back.
It's already an advantage.
Numbers advantage, exactly. Now New Paradigm, they also didn't really get anything with Unknown's grab. So on the back foot here as they commit a Transcendence and Cyclone coupling.
Shatter miss.
All these defensive ultimates, and that's with the whiff on that Shatter. Like you said, Cyclone coupling still in a good spot. They find Ainz. Jackie didn't even go down there. Teto self-destruct does not catch anything. And New Paradigm continually getting forced further and further back, not making any headway despite the kill on Jackie. Their own members are just too low. Despite the closer respawns, they are not getting favorable enough trades, and Cyclone coupling are absolutely destroying the clock right now.
And now just waiting for respawns. New Paradigm have to reset here. They need to try and leverage what little advantage they can get from the run back distance. GCGG only just respawns. And his little Zenyatta legs that don't even touch the ground are not going to get him back at the point in time. New Paradigm can push now. Unknown can get a Graviton Surge up, but X69 is waiting with his own.
So they're just playing patient here. That's 1/3 already gone over. Cyclone coupling waiting to get the angle in. They know they are relying on this grab here. Just getting aggressive. There we go. Throws it down. Sound barrier to counter. Red Fox. Oh dear. New Paradigm's found them all. And now it's just Yang alone. The self-destruct from Eternal this time was not the impressive play she played they needed. The cap will come through from New Paradigm.
And this is going to be a bit of a clean-up on the GCGG as well. Just a bit of a slowdown here. That's a late respawn. Ooh. They have to double cap now.
Ouch.
Already have this time. This is not going to be a good time, assuming we can go into the time bank. There still is an Earth Shatter. Yang probably not going to change here because he's already got the Primal. They just have to use what they got.
New Paradigm, they've got some tools in the pocket. They've got to really count.
Yang Yang's already half.
Yeah, he used the Primal Rage to try and get aggressive. Oh, that was not a good Earth Shatter out of Frost, unfortunate as that is to say. Cyclone Coupling don't have anything left. Self-destruct forward if they're going to just find one. Doesn't find any. Ref, though, with that Transcendence running there with that, they're able to secure some kills now. Cyclone Coupling, they've still got the respawn advantage, but they actually need to get kills for that.
Going into overtime.
Anything. Is definitely going to go into the overtime as the cap starts to come through. Now Cyclone Coupling, they need to play discipline. They need to wait for full respawns.
They just have to try and stall this one out. Even if they don't win, they have to force the overtime.
Oh, Jackie goes on to the point. Yang, he's stuck in a Graviton Surge. GCGG is just trying to blink in and out of this one, force some overtime. Does not happen. Now we're going into our third level deep of Time Bank.
Technically second, the first one was just, a regular time of attack.
I mean,
third layers deep of different attacks and defense here. We're sort of in the stage where, this is exactly what I'm talking about. There's 1:15 remaining for Cyclone Coupling, and they are going to attack. If they get 1/3, they win. If they don't, they draw. So, position now for Cyclone Coupling where they can seriously get ahead. This is what they've been working towards. By the way, second Horizon Lunar Colony in a row after Hong Kong Attitude's last match, but we do go this far deep into Horizon Lunar Colony, 3 layers deep. And for New Paradigm, it has to be a perfect defense because for Cyclone Coupling, again, 1 tick is a victory. At worst, they will draw.
That's the thing, with that little time on the clock, all New Paradigm really need to do is play for that clock. For Cyclone Coupling, slow plays too much for them to handle. Just burning out the candle is New Paradigm's game plan.
Grab the handle.
Wasn't intentional, by the way.
I don't know. Cyclone Coupling, though, it seems like both teams are going to play this one quite safe. It's going to be the Rhine Goats out of both. And this is, again, quite disciplined by Cyclone Coupling because they know if they experiment and it fails, that's it. There's no time to change. They just basically have to cop a loss. So this is a very safe composition. They're assuming there's not going to be a Junkrat on the other side. If there is a Junkrat, they're doomed, but there isn't, so they're fine.
They make a long rotations. They will spot this one out. New Paradigm will not get the drop on Cyclone Coupling here. This could be dangerous. Oh, no, Red Fox did still go down. Nearly traded back on Unknown, but it's Frost that goes down. Goes to respawn for Cyclone Coupling. Do not forget that. New Paradigm still taking a bit of hurt here. Jackie trying to keep the bashes up on these members. They're continuing the rotations here.
And I actually like the pick onto Frost. That's the far more valuable pick. Puts Yang ahead and gives them a shield advantage, which is massive. And Red Fox reinforces so quickly. Now it's a 6v5 until Frost gets there.
They're on the point and there isn't much
Frost
time
is coming.
Bax is still trying to taxi Frost back. He finally gets there. They're in a 6 versus 6 now on the point with New Paradigm. No room to maneuver with. They're the ones trying to fight in and on to the point. It's Cyclone Coupling who are entrenched behind.
Rally.
Jackie rally as well. Yang is low. So is Frost. Yang goes down. Tedo preserves the mech for the time being. 15 seconds if Cyclone Coupling don't get now. They don't have another opportunity. Trade back with Frost now. Unknown, he's got to grab. The X69 nearly has his own as well. Who will get it out first? Eternal, self-destruct available. Grabbers on there. Will they get much? No, they will not. They're all pushed off the point, and despite getting so damn close, Cyclone Coupling are going to get pushed off, rebuffed, repelled, and we will have a draw for the second time today on Horizon Lunar Colony.
And I gotta say right now, this just absolutely goes to show how close these two teams are. It's 1-1 apiece. After 3 maps, still 1-1 apiece. A draw on Horizon that goes to a second time bank, 3 layers deep. The second time we've seen this even just in one night in back-to-back matches. We had some insanely close matches, and this one is probably the closest.
And the interesting thing is it does mean we still will not be going to a full 5 because one of these teams must inevitably win.
It's not going to be 3-1.
Escort. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, sure. Technically, it will not. It'll be a 2-1, but it won't be a full 5. So we still won't see a 5-game series in Group B.
We'll get a tiebreaker though, because the next map will be the last one. Winner takes all here. This is where you get to keep all the marbles, and it's worth so much trying to catch up to Hong Kong Attitude.
Marbles.
Trying to catch up to Hong Kong Attitude, getting second place, or at least maintaining second to third on the standings while pushing the other one down to 4th or 5th. That's a big deal going into playoffs, and both teams are fighting so hard for it. And in week 1, we would have said, look, it's an easy group. Hong Kong Attitude, New Paradigm, Cyclone Coupling. We don't really know. They don't look that great in week number 1. Going into week 3, they're going from strength to strength. They're on par. In fact, maybe even just a little bit better than New Paradigm, considering the position they were on Horizon. And we're going to see the result when we get after map 4, are Cyclone Coupling actually better than New Paradigm? Because still the teams just are so close.
And the crazy thing about this as well is like Cyclone Coupling do still feel like they're on the up and up. They're going for strength to strength each and every week. I even feel that this week's Cyclone Coupling is better than last week's that picked up the win. It's just the opponent is a little bit tougher, I would dare say. And the unfortunate thing about that is it means if your matchups don't come in your ideal order, right? Like if you're going to be a slow burn team, you ideally want to have your easiest match in week 1 and then your hardest in week 5. But that's not how things work out. So it could just be that Cyclone Coupling, despite potentially in week 5 looking really good, still not making playoffs because of losses they cop here and also in week 1. So it is, again, we go back to this, why it is so important that they pick up the win here. You don't want to miss out on that map differential.
Yeah, because they still have Hong Kong Attitude and GE Pantheon in weeks 4 and 5. GE Pantheon first. So if it is a slow burn team, and if they are reaching or at close to their potential by week 5, that's ideal because their toughest competition is waiting for them in week 5. But right now, they just came off a win against Giant Esports last week. So right now, getting this win puts them up a little bit closer to finally reach up and take down Hong Kong Attitude Route 66. Going to be the decider here. It all comes down to this winner takes all.
Oh, and so fitting for it to be on Route 66 as well, I feel. Map we've gone to a lot. It's interesting to be in this tie situation. I mean, as much as we did get the draw on Horizon Lunar Colony in our last series just been between Hong Kong Attitude and Phoenix, thank you. I was drawing a blank. Thank you very kindly. Actually, that draw still meant Hong Kong Attitude won because they got the 2-0. This is a very different kettle of fish. And the thing I keep wanting to go back to here is where Cyclone have looked a little bit rocky, right? Like, when they're looking good, they're looking better, but there's still those few little bits of inconsistency, and I feel like that showed a lot on Hollywood. Sorry, other way around. That showed a lot on. Actually, did show a lot on Hollywood. They just kind of the highs were high enough, and it was on Busan where it was the real problem, especially on that 3rd stage on downtown. So, I like to think that they're still on this upward trajectory despite the draw just been, and I feel like that ought to favor them now coming into Route 66.
Also, I think it speaks to New Paradigm's strength as well. It's not just so, okay, well, seems like they're at several points the hurdles are just too high for Cyclone Coupling, and they do trip over, but they do get back up, they do finish when it counts. On the other hand of that New Paradigm, I mean, if they're placing the hurdles, they're putting up really high right now.
Yeah.
This is tough competition from both sides. And you could say the same thing about New Paradigm. I mean, it's like they get close, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. Hollywood, by all accounts, might have been their map. They look super favored right until they didn't, and that's when Cyclone Coupling, they win the C defense. They then get to finish the C push, and they clean up the map. Busan as well. Look, they didn't do too well in that opening sanctuary. Then they managed to find it back on the other two, Mecha Base and on Downtown. Going to Horizon, it was going very poor for New Paradigm right up until that final time back where they forced the draw. And if they didn't force the draw, this will be a precarious situation for them to be in. Match point for Cyclone Coupling is not where you want to be if you're New Paradigm. Now this is giving them a potential to come back and finish things off on the final map.
That's what they did by themselves on Horizon Lunar Colony by successfully completing that defense when Cyclone only needed to cap the 3rd. So, even Stevens, all drawn up. We will have a victor at the end of Route 66.
Will be Cyclone Coupling defending first. Not going to try anything too crazy here. Just going to be the stock standard. Ryan Goats versus a Winston Goats. But as soon as New Paradigm spotted out, here comes the fire from Ein.
So they might as well. That aerial control, get that damage down onto all those tanks.
This is where Cyclone Coupling have to win the ground fight very quickly. They can't do much. Oh, I say they can't, but GCGG, good pressure.
Yeah, look, he's actually doing a good bit, but unfortunately, still vulnerable on the ground. Unknown's going to pick that one up, and Cyclone Coupling really forced far back here. This is a lot of free ground now for New Paradigm.
This really sucks because if they do want to change, they have to go so far back, change the heroes. They aren't going to do that. This is
an unknown scout.
Super disciplined by them. A lot of teams would just fight with what they got and then potentially lose, but here they're going to give up all the space. They're going to fight right at the end of the cap. New Paradigm can't push that fast, and so for Cyclone Coupling, look at Jeki coming out with his own Pharah.
I mean, it gives them an opportunity to defend at least right at the end of the A cap, whereas they probably wouldn't have had much of a shot on that previous comp. So like you said, good discipline. It's just a real tough bullet to bite. Now X69 on the Tracer, looking to keep some pressure on the ground game on Unknown and the support here, Ref.
Oh, he spotted target, he wants the one.
Nice defense matrix to keep Ref safe, and Baxter comes to the rescue there. X69, oh wow! Pokes his head out a bit too long, and Ref immediately pounces on that opportunity. So 1 for 1 though.
And the 1 for 1 is really nice here. Frost going down is super valuable because giving Yang Yang so much free space and then a res onto X69. This is now a massive advantage to play with.
Yeah, even though Eind and Unknown were both so close to those ultimates, unfortunately not close enough to actually use them. They will still have them for this next fight, but it's given Cyclone some time to charge up stuff like the Transcendence.
And the Tracer here is a really smart pick because there's no Brigida counter available. The EMP's dangerous, but X69 just has to play careful. Speaking of careful, Eind needs to make sure he does not go down right now.
Yeah, in fact, either of those picks there, Eind or Baxter, would be rough. Oh, speaking of, with the Valkyrie
both
running,
of them.
And then Eind gets found out by Yang Yang. How does that even happen? Man, New Paradigm just getting found out there. Cyclone Coupling, finding an opportunity.
And off the back of this win, first of all, ult charges coming along. Jeki can now match Eind. X69 has a pulse bomb as well, but more importantly, look at the car position. They gave up all the car position previously. Now as the car slides back, suddenly it all becomes worthwhile, and Unknown still looking for this EMP as Eind is going to go into Tracer as well.
That's the thing, it's not even a gamble really, but this is paid off here for Cyclone Coupling. Look at this, Unknown's trying to find GCGC.
Not going to find much.
Running off to the side. Nice catch onto Jeki, but Jeki got a shot on Ref as he was coming back down to earth anyway, so it's already a better trade for Cyclone Coupling. Jeki able to get back in the air, now able to try and avoid the self-destruct. It's going to be saved. GCGG not so lucky, but the damage is kind of be done here. And Cyclone Coupling are the ones actually rotating into ultimates that they've yet to use.
The thing here, the Sombra EMP isn't high value. Who are you really going to get here? Both Jeki and Red Fox are going to be in the sky. X69 is going to be on a flank. Maybe GCGG, who was on the Zen, you can find, but right now, Cyclone Coupling still winning this fight. New Paradigm have not reset yet.
And I'm still trying to find the Pharah or something, but even if he did, the res would be there immediately anyway.
Look at this adaptation. GCGG going on to the Brigida means Eind has to watch out. Unknown has to watch out. Brigida being on the field means Tracer is not as valuable, is not as viable. Maybe Eind has to change now.
I really like that tech there, very nicely deployed. And Cyclone still have all the ultimates to play with. Eind's only just coming up on a pulse bomb, but that is not the high impact tool that you really need. It's just going to be a matter of who gets the connection. Eternal is to throw out that self-destruct. Instead, Rocket Barrage onto Frost Tito, and that's all she wrote for that one. 10 seconds remaining. New Paradigm technically have just enough time to
go for it
and dive for this cart, but they've already committed a Transcendence. They're in for a penny, in for a pound, indeed in for the whole hog, as Baxter gets found by Jeki. New Paradigm, no one on the cart. That is a mammoth hold from Cyclone.
I cannot believe this is how it's going to end. Is this going to be the biggest cleanup from Cyclone Coupling? It's been 3 maps that have been so close, and then going into Route 66. It's a blowout. I cannot believe that, but I will be super impressed by the fact that it was the most insane amount of discipline being so highly rewarded. Again, look at what Cyclone Coupling does. They see the Pharah, they say, just no way, we are not going to be able to play into this. They do something that a lot of teams, most teams, I would wager 11 out of 12 teams in this competition would probably not do as a guess.
They'd at least give it a go with the suboptimal team.
They go back to base, give up all the ground, give up any charge they got to change heroes. It is absolutely nuts. And then to be rewarded with this victory, with this now hold onto A, I cannot just fathom how amazing that is.
I mean, it's exactly that sort of discipline in that wider game, the macro game, the decision-making that I'd said Cyclone Coupling kind of lacked in their very first outing, week 1, day 2. The fact that the progression there, it just goes to show. We said, week 3, this is when teams have to accelerate. Man, Cyclone, they really have turned a new corner here.
It's just amazing. And the fact that we're ending it like this is almost unprecedented.
It's not done yet.
And it certainly isn't. Look, New Paradigm.
But a hold would be even more unprecedented.
What I will say is it will end on this point. The point I'm trying to make is we're not going to see whatever happens. A is where it will end for both these teams. Again, winner takes all.
Scouting from Cyclone. Now let's see if New Paradigm will be equally as disciplined. If they don't make the move now, they will not have time to make the move, and that could just give it over to Cyclone. New Paradigm is sticking on this one. Oh boy.
They are playing for the long game here. They know they got 4 minutes to work with, so one good EMP play ends everything in New Paradigm. They have the version of Goats that can contest Jackie into the air, but it is still hard.
It's really hard, is to say the least. And Cyclone coupling just charging up a lot of ultimate, especially on Jackie here. Like you said, it is more the EMP that they need, and X69 has been a bit too slow to charge that.
Well, that's the slow, yeah, that's exactly right. Jackie's going to get the rocket barrage, but he can't just throw it out there. He can't get contested. The one they want is the EMP, and this charge is too slow from X69.
Just playing very safely here. Only 25%. They do still have time on the clock to play with, but you don't want to use up all of your time and then end up finding nothing.
I think if they play the barrage safely here, just find a bit of player advantage, they can push off that and win. But they have to find a couple of picks here, maybe 1 or 2.
That's the thing, if they could find something like Frost or Tato's mech, then it would be enough to open this up. That's a 1-for-1, a little not ideal, but Cyclone technically at the closer respawn. The rest of the Paradigm members here are very low, are very pressured out, and Cyclone coupling, posturing very aggressively forward. They find Frost, res up on Jackie, and here's the EMP rotating into New Paradigm, bleeding from every open wound. Ein goes down, Tato low, D-mech'd, Unknown low. They have not been able to get healed up because Buxer has been solo healing thanks to the pick on Ref, and that's all she wrote. CYC, you could call it an anticlimax, or you could call it the absolute pinnacle of achievement for this team, but that was an absolutely dashing way to win.
And for me personally, it's definitely going to have to be the latter there, because it is just so fantastic to see a team being rewarded for such a hard decision. Again, a choice that is just of utmost pain. It's like you have to give up everything. It is the toughest bullet to bite to say that that's the choice you're going to make there. And I mean, it's almost like you just give up the entire point. For them to actually come back and win that is absolutely astounding. Find the right picks, the right adaptations, even the small things. It's not even just, okay, change to the comp, come back, and you get a free win. It's not a free win. Yeah. You're playing Pharah into another Pharah. You're playing a Tracer still, and then you see the Tracer on the other side, you put GCGG, who was on his Zen, onto a Brigida. That's another risk, because if you're not getting the 1-for-1 trade onto the Tracer, or rather the 1-for-0 trade onto the Tracer, that's a suboptimal healer. You would rather have the Zenyatta because you value the Discord. You only have a Mercy solo healing if the Brigida doesn't do enough, and they find the kill into Iron. Just everything works.
And need I remind you as well, coming out the gate with that adaptation, they're severely behind in ult charge. I think it was like 95 and 97% respectively, or something crazy like that, that the DPSs of New Paradigm died on there, that gave just enough of a window for Cyclone to start matching. And then they took it one step further. They continued to kill those members. They even absorbed those ultimates, taking no casualties, I believe it was, from them. Maybe one, which is nowhere near enough from an EMP and a rocket barrage. Preserved their own EMP rocket barrage right until the very last fight. And the connection on those was absolutely beautiful. It was a complete wash. To consistently outfrag with ultimates not being a factor so many fights back to back is exactly why that gambit paid off. Or not even a gambit, it's not a gambit, it's a very smart call, but it's why it paid off. And like you said, a lot of teams wouldn't even make the disciplined call there. A lot more teams, even if they would, still wouldn't actually be able to make the hold. It's both sides of that has caused Cyclone coupling to win tonight.
It's just the cost of it. It's just how much you are willing to pay for this potential. It's upping your matchup statistic. What is your win rate statistic here? Is it from, is it a 30-70 playing the Rhine into the fire? Maybe it's 20, maybe it's 20-80, whatever it is, you're upping that percentage by a certain amount, but you are choosing to forego everything else,
and you still got to out
a slightly, well, not a slight, but a better matchup percentage that is not even favorable. At most, you get a 50-50 because you're playing pharmacy into pharmacy.
While they're ahead in charge.
While they are ahead in charge,
closer respawn.
while they have closer respawns, while they are positioning on you, while the cart and objective pressure is all in their favor, everything is going in their favor, and at best, you're maybe going 50%, 55 to 45, 60 to 40 at most, because it's still a pharmacy versus a pharmacy, and there's no advantage there. And to make that kind of call and say, we're going to throw everything at this is the only way we're going to have a chance to defend this A point. By the way, they could have just chosen, hey, just forget about A, just go on to B. That could even be a safer choice, but they made the most costly call possible, which is also the smartest call possible, and then have it work out.